And here they come. They're coming in. There they are. Good girls. Hi, Susan, Ruth, Miles. Hey, Miles, baby. How are you? Big shout out. Big shout out. So this is Noreen Sumter. It's 9 o'clock, and it's beyond potential. Live life your way. And I love it. It's Tuesday, and you know what time it is. It is my favorite time of the week because I get to play with you. I'm feeling a little crazy today. Um, so welcome. This is, like I said, it's Noreen Sumter, Live Life Your Way, Beyond Potential, and this is my show. And tonight, I don't have any guests. Why? Because I'm getting rusty. Having all these guests every week. I get rusty. I don't do me, and I like the first time I did it was it last month? Did you just lose me? I did it last month, and I felt really rusty after the show. So tonight, this is me trying to de-rust myself, use some Rust-Oleum so that I can, or some DW40, right, and get on with my show. So tonight we're going to be talking about structures, right? Structures as structures are, rituals, the kinds of things that we do to get our week going, to get our year going, to create some consistency, to create some grounding in our life. And I am one of these people, if I don't have structures, if I don't have it written down in my calendar, I won't do it. If I don't have it, a ritual, a practice that I haven't done for a really good length of time, then it will just get, no matter, even if I put it by the side of the bed, it will just disappear into the darkness of my life. So tonight I'm going to be talking about structures, but first of all, I just want to brag a little bit. I'm really excited. You will be excited too, but I'm really excited to say that I have 3,544 listeners. Now, it might not sound like much out there in the world, but to me, that is huge. That is just for January. And I'm really, really excited about it. I just feel like I just hug myself and just love myself for that, because it takes something to actually come every week and do a radio show, given that I am not a professional, given that I have not been trained in this arena. And it's just something like life that I just jumped into, that the offer presented itself. It was something that I always wanted to do. And I just jumped in, and I'm really, really excited to know that I have so many people that are interested in listening to my show. Hey, Alexandra, Satij, Ruth, Guy, all these people. I mean, it's just, oh my God, it's just so wonderful. I could cry with joy, of course. So, 5,400 listeners. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening to my show, even if it's on the replay. And I want to say, I want to give a shout out to people that do this for a living, like, Oprah, who's on TV every day, and we see her or doing her Super Soul Sundays. Now she can relax a little bit and just be herself. But in the beginning, I'm sure it must have been really difficult. Even like Howard Stern with his crassness on, was it Sirius Radio? And he used to be on another channel years ago, and I used to listen to him every morning, even though he drove me crazy. I still listen to him because he made me laugh. And I'm just going to say, we might not agree with what he talks about, but that's what he does. There's a place for everyone, everyone for a place, right? And I want to give him a shout out. Larry King has been on the radio and TV since Dirt, right? So, like, it's not easy. I can't even imagine. I've been on this radio since August, right? Since August 2017. It's gone really, really quickly. And, I think of before, I had no idea what it would take to do this. And now I think of it now, I still don't have any idea of what it would take, but it's a little easier, right? So I just want to say thank you. Oh my God, it's like being in the wild, wild west, and I'm a cowboy or a cowgirl, and I'm just like slinging stuff, like slinging my words, and like trying to engage people, and it's, trying to invite people and enroll people to come in and have a conversation with me, to pick up the phone. And, I'm in front of this camera streaming, and I'm also on the radio. And I've said to people, hey, call into the show. Today I saw one of my neighbors, and she said, oh, you have a radio show? I said, yeah, you should take an opportunity to call in. She's a teacher. Shout out to teachers. And she says, oh, no, I have a frog in my throat. I can't come on. Or I'll say to somebody like a friend, call into the radio show, have a chat. And she says, oh no, I can't do that. I don't know what I would talk about. Just talk about what we're going to talk about. And then I had another friend that called into the radio show. Do you remember that? He gave an alias. He didn't even, really? You're that popular that people are all over the world, all over the internet are going to recognize your voice. Look, so I'm out here, putting myself on the line, making myself public, and, inviting people to engage with me, talk with me, because that's how the show gets built, right? When people call in, I got one stranger last week. That's a huge deal. I got a stranger. Let me give you the number. It's in case there are any other strangers out there that want to call into the show and chat it up with me. So our number is 877-480-4120. So if you want to chat it up, did I do that too fast? I'll do it again. 877-480-4120. Look, it takes something to put yourself out there. It takes something to risk. I could risk. I'm sure there's people out there who are snorting and being snotty about me having a radio show, but I don't care. I'm sure there's people out there that hate it. I don't care. At least let me know if you hate it. Call in and tell me how much you hate it. If you love it, call in and tell me. But it really doesn't matter, because all news is good news. No news is it's just no news, right? So I had a conversation yesterday with a friend of mine who we went to a cocktail party because we had some French delegates in, some French people in from, of course, France, Paris, France, though. And we had to engage with them. That was a really nice night. It was with my friend Elizabeth, who is on the board of NARBO, of which I'm on the board of NARBO, which is the National Association of Women Business Owners. And so I said to her, have you listened to my show? And she said, yes, I've listened to your show 3 times. And I'm like, whoa, that's huge. That's a big deal for somebody to listen to my show for 3 times. And the only person I know that listens to all my shows is my sister. Well, you have to listen to my show. You're here. You've got no choice in the matter. And so I said, how is it for you? She goes, it's okay. And I'm like, come on, what do you mean, it's okay? Tell me more. What's working? What's not working? What doesn't work at all? She goes, no, I've listened to your show. It's really good. I really enjoy it. She goes, but there was one show that I was listening to, and then you were laughing too much. I'm like, my God, please, I'm happy. I'm happy. I've never been one of these people that my happiness lives on the inside. It'll be like an inside burp. I can't. I have to express it because I just don't know how to be that person that is happy and people don't know it, So, but she said to me, it's a really good show. She goes, but you need more internet activity and you need something on your Instagram. So we're going to meet this Saturday and she's going to support me to do my Instagram. Isn't that great? Because I am not good at social media. I do not do well with social media. Anyway, so taking on this radio show has been a huge responsibility. To me, it's one of an additional responsibility, getting up every week, having to figure out what the show is going to be about, having to talk to, thank you, Kelly, my assistant, having to get information about people who are going to come on the show, and then choosing the right person that comes on the show that's going to be engaging, that I don't have to pump them up and for them to do what they do, that they're able to speak to people. So that's really important for me to get the right people on the show, right? And so radio for me has been a huge learning, not for nothing. Everything I do is a huge learning, right? I was watching, I want to share quickly about what I was doing last night. I wasn't doing that. But anyway, what I was doing last night, I was watching listening to a show on podcast called How I Built It. And one of the things that I learned last night about entrepreneurs is that they have structures. They are individuals that love what they do. And many of them did not even consider themselves to be entrepreneurs. They were just people who loved what they did and just found ways to make it pay. And some of that just happened all of a sudden, just happened spontaneously, right? I listened to the story of Barbara Cochran. You know, Barbara Cochran's from the hood, honestly. She was cussing up a storm. She was just telling it like it is. You know, she was not a good student. She was a D student. I know her lucky number is number 66, and she sold her company for 66 million or something like that. And she wasn't educated. She came from a large family. She was charismatic. You know, she was just a real down to earth normal woman, right? She didn't have any special skills. She built herself. Mark Cuban, he built himself. The Indian guy, was it Moval Bach? I can't say his name. I apologize. But he created the 5-hour energy drink. He didn't go to school. He was a monk for a number of years. So, and Angie's List. I didn't know Angie's List was a person. I thought it was just a list. That woman started that out where it's $19 a month to become a member of that list. And now she's nationwide. And she's Angie's List. And this was something that she kind of just fell into. And she really didn't want to do it, but she did it. So as I'm going to take a break and I'll come right back and I'm going to share about some structures, just some little structures that I picked up along the way. So I will be right back. Thank you.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way, on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Hi, this is Noreen. I'm back. It's Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way. And tonight, guys, is just me. So why I'm going to be talking a little bit about structures. Why do we need structures and rituals? I would say that we need let's do it like, I would say that we need structures and rituals to keep us grounded, to keep us balanced, and to give us some kinds of consistency. Why do we need consistency? Because it makes us be balanced. We can take steps little by little bit and we accomplish our dreams. You can't eat the whole rat in one bite. You have to eat the rat. I usually say rat. I say rat. I like to say rat. You can eat an elephant if you want to, but I think a rat is kind of nasty, right? And that's why I wouldn't want to eat the thing all in one bite. I want to eat it in little tiny bites. Yeah, but an elephant is huge. That's going to take me a few days. So anyway, so you want to take structures a little bit. You threw me off, dude. It's to take it a little bit at a time, and having structures in the beginning always seem difficult. Now, so I have a structure of meditating, right? It's meditating for the last 2 years has been so much simpler for me. But when I started meditating, oh my God, the noise that was in my head was ridiculous, and I couldn't keep still and I couldn't keep focus. And what I used to do was 1 minute at pop on my iPad. So there was when you got the iPad, there was a flame, and so I'd light up the little flame on my iPad, and then I would sit and meditate. And I couldn't focus. Now I'm really good at it. I can focus for 20 minutes at a pop. Right? I've even done it for as long as 40 minutes, but 20 minutes is sufficient. I do 40 minutes a day. In the morning when I wake up, I do 20 minutes of meditation, and I've gotten really good where I can just tune stuff out. Why do I do that? One, I find that it energizes me, and it just keeps me focused on the things that I'm up to. It keeps me out of my head, even though I am sort of in my head, but I'm not really in my head. I'm out just focusing, just breathing. And what I do is I focus on my breath. Now, meditating for me also, I do it at night. Like when I go home tonight, I'll do 20 minutes of meditation. And that literally calms me down and gives me a deep sleep. Now, I could get home at 3 a.m. If I still meditated for 20 minutes, I'm able to get up at 5:30 and go on about my business. So it refreshes me, and it also invigorates me with a lot of energy. And I remember before I meditated, if I went to bed at 2 or 3 a.m, I would wake up dead. Literally exhausted, wiped out. But now I've got this little trick of doing my meditation. It really makes a difference. And if you read all the different gurus or practices, every single person recommends meditation, right? Because it just helps to expand you, and it actually helps you. What I get little pops of information. It's like things bubbling, I say bubbling up to the top, information bubbling up to the top, like who to call for that day, what to do for that day, how to set up my structure for that day. And I find that when I do it, I'm much more productive. I also have a ritual that I have a 5:30 call every morning with a woman that I met. We said it's about 9 years now. I met her at a conference in Florida. And at the time we shared a room, and she said to me, "Hey, Nora, do you want to be accountability buddies?" And I was like, "Absolutely, sure. When would you like to talk?" Because she lived in Florida and I lived in New York. She goes, "We can talk at 5:30 in the morning." And I was like, "Are you out of your tiny little mind? Wendy, I love you." But something said to me, Noreen, do it, right? Do it. Why should you do it? Just do it because you could get to see something different. You're not one of these people that likes to get up at 5:30 in the morning. You don't even want to talk at 5:30 in the morning. Maybe you could get something. So I said, okay, I just jumped. I'm a big jumper. I said, okay, I'll do it. It is now, this year actually is 9 years. This year, summer will be 9 years that I have been waking up at 5:30 in the morning on a weekday and talking to Wendy. And we have just been doing it consistently. It was just like last year that we said, "How long have we been doing this?" And she said, like 8 years. And I was like, oh my God. Right? So I no longer have the right to say I am not this kind of person. I say I am not anything anymore because everything can be created. So that is one of my rituals that I do. Now, another ritual that I do that is my gratitude. I do a gratitude list. I do 5 things, 10 things a day. I do 5 things in the morning and 5 things at night, right? And sometimes that's really difficult because it's like, I also give this to my clients to do a gratitude list. And I really can sympathize with them when they say they don't know what to write. Because sometimes it's like, it's even something as simple as, wow, I'm grateful for that flower I saw, or I'm grateful for, that was a really nice bit of fruit, right? I love cheese. That was a nice bit of cheese. Or I'm grateful for these nice, when I change my sheets, I'm grateful for these nice, cool, crispy sheets that are on my bed. Or I'm grateful for my apartment, or I'm grateful for being able to do this radio show and being able to handle the responsibilities to do it. Or I'm grateful that I didn't kill somebody today who was getting on my nerves and weren't doing what they said they would do, right? So, your gratitude is anything. I'm just grateful for being alive. So I have a gratitude list that I do, and I do that rigorously. And when I don't do it rigorously, like if I miss a day or two, I make it up. And that is like a struggle to add in. Now I got to do 20, right? So, or 60. It's like, it's really, so I do that. What else? Structures. So I work for myself and I work at home, and the last 3 years, I created a structure of joining various networking groups. I joined BNI, which is one of the most rigorous, I'd say, networking groups on the planet, right? That I know of. There might be more, but I haven't met them yet. And so BNI, mine is 7:30. I have to be there at 7 on a Wednesday. Our meeting starts at 7:30, and I've been doing that for the last 4 years, as well as, so that's waking up. And I used to have this thing that, like, if I woke up early in the morning and went outside, there'd be zombies, right? I didn't like going out by myself. And that's because I was going to say, I grew up in Brooklyn. I moved to Brooklyn 20 odd years ago when it was crack haven. And so it would frighten me to go outside in the morning because I was afraid of crackheads. I know it sounds terrible, but I was afraid of the drug addicts. And plus also the station that I used to go to down on Washington Avenue between Fulton and Atlantic was Pissy City. Right? So it was really stinky. And then the crack people, I was terrified. So if I had to leave the house at 5:30, I would really be nervous, even though you couldn't see it in my face, but in my heart, I was shaking like everything. But so now I get up and I take the bus or I walk down and I go to my BNI meeting, and I'm there at 7 in the morning. Now, rituals are, going to that BNI meeting in the beginning was very difficult, like most things, right? I don't want to get out of bed. The alien's on my face. I don't want to get out of bed. It's cold in the wintertime and dark. In the summer, it's fine. But in the wintertime, it's awful. And what I would do would be like, I'd be fighting with myself. Noreen, get up. And I don't want to get up. Get up. No, I don't want to get up. This is me having a conversation with myself. I don't wake up with an alarm, so there wasn't a snooze for me to hit. And I would get up and I'd throw myself in the shower. And I would kind of drag myself out of the house. And I would always be late, right? And so I said to myself, I can't keep doing this because this is not good for me. It's not good for the group. And it's not in alignment with what I'm standing for. So what I did is I took responsibility, and I stood up in the session one day and I said, I have been late. And what you can count on is that I will now be on time. I gave my word away. And I feel that, when you give your word away to somebody to hold it for you or to help you to be accountable, you do what you say you will do. So since I gave my word away, and I've been doing, this year is my 4th year in the BNI group, getting up, which is again something that I didn't know that I could do, but I have been doing it now for the last 4 years. And because I gave my word away, it's easier. There's moments when I don't want to go, but when it's time to get up, I jump in the shower, I time myself, and I'm out the door. And I've just been doing it rigorously. So you got to create structures that are going to challenge you. And these structures challenge me. They absolutely challenged me. I'm now back in the realm of working on my health and well-being and doing exercise. 2 years ago, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I became the keep fit goddess. I mean, just like I was a monster, right? I was up in the morning, running around the park, running from Clinton Hill to Williamsburg and running back. And then I was eating and reading all the labels and all the packets and the weight was coming off, and I was sexy and hot and looking good. And everybody was saying, you look like you lost 10 years. And I was like, that means I must look about 12, right? And, I slacked off when the diabetes, the results and the numbers went down. I slacked off. But it's a lifestyle. It's not just exercising so I can keep well for now. It's exercising so I can keep well for the rest of my life, as best as I can, because anything can show up. And so I'm back on that, and I'm running 3 times a week. It takes something, it takes something, but I am going to give my word away and give it to you guys who are listening, and give it to you guys in the studio and everybody else who's around the planet, that this is something that I'm committed to doing. So it's having these structures give me grounding. They literally, I live by myself. So there are no children. There are no people that I have to report to or do for in my life. And so to have structures, it helps me see that I am alive. And then it also helps me when I'm consistent with myself. I'm consistent with my business. Everything starts to flow. And what I call that is having integrity, keeping the integrity. I had a conversation about integrity with one of my clients today. And she was saying to me that, Noreen, the conversation we had about integrity last week, she goes, I've really been putting that in. I really want to keep a focus on that. Like, how can I do that? Well, integrity, the moment, it's one of these things that it goes in and out of life. We have it that integrity means that, if I don't have any integrity, that means I'm no good or I'm just like a shithead. But that's not the point. Integrity is something that goes in. We give our word. I'm not going to eat that chocolate. But the moment I walk outside and I go into a store, there's a chocolate bar on the front of the counter. I've bought the bar. I go outside, I open it, I rip it open, and I pop it in my mouth. Oh my God, integrity is out. What do? Do you chew, swallow, or spit? Right? And even though it says it's like Robert said last week, he had a bet with his father for $2,500. He missed the race he was supposed to do it in 3 hours and he missed it by 1 minute. And I said, did you take the money? He said, no. He would know that he cheated. And that's where your integrity, you have to know when you're not doing the thing that you said you would do. So on that note, I said I would cut. So now I'm going to cut and I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Hi, we're back. This is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way. And I was just looking at my Facebook Live here, and I have Miss Rebecca Roberts Rodriguez, who is a friend of mine that I haven't seen for a really long time, and she's having a baby. So congratulations on that. And then I've got Andrew, my friend Andrew. He talk about, tricking me for like 1,000 years. We have a mutual friend, Jeff, who told me that Andrew had a liver transplant and it was being paid for by Tangeray. Hello, Tangeray, the gin company? The gin company? It wasn't true. I believed it for years. They lied to me. So every time I would see Jeff, I was like, how's Andrew with his liver problem? And he would just like wind me up until I found out it wasn't true. So, all right. So it's important to write things down. Like if you have a goal, a mission, something that you want, the first thing is it pops up in your head. I found that is important, and everybody who is in the arena of growth and development, who is in the arena of spirituality or any of those kinds of fields will tell you to write it down. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, and write down your goals, write down your rituals, write down the things that you're going to do. And I used to do this all the time. I used to write down ever since I could remember, from the age of about 13, I would write down all my goals, what I wanted to accomplish. And I would even write stories about them, right? Just like create a story about what I wanted. Like, so at 13, I created a story of when I get older, I am going to go to New York because I've seen it on TV so many times. I was a big, fan of 42nd Street, the musicals, Come On Along and Listen to, all this kind of stuff. I was really into musical, and you could find me downstairs in my basement with my tap shoes tapping away to like all these old musicals. And so I wrote down that I was going to come to America. I was going to walk down 42nd Street, that dirty hole, and it looked nothing like on the TV with Judy Garland and all these people. But I did. I came to New York at 16, right? And did go down 42nd Street. And at the time, it was very sleazy. There were like these peep show places, and it was really grotty. 42nd Street now looks like a Disney movie. Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so it's important to write things down. Write down what you want to do. I wanted to buy my apartment, and at the time I was making $170 a week. Woohoo! I didn't even know I was poor. I had no idea I was poor. I had 100 and I was temping. I was making $170 a week. I had no idea. And I wrote down that I wanted to buy myself an apartment. And I said this to people that I was working with, and they looked at me like I was on drugs, right? And I probably was. No, I wasn't. And I would save $25 a month, right? I called it lipstick money. I would save $25 a month. And I would always write about this apartment. I would write about some place that I wanted to buy. And every Saturday, what I would do is I would leave my house and I would go to real estate agents. And Noreen couldn't do it. Like I said before, I created a pseudonym, somebody else who would do it, a different energy, who walked in, who had tons of money. She wasn't saving $25 a month. She wasn't saving anything because she was rich. And I would go and look at houses, and I did find an apartment. And I moved to Brooklyn in a beautiful apartment at the Cathedral, the Cathedral was a renovated Catholic boys' school, and they turned it into condominiums. And I actually did, with that, saving that $25 a month, I was able to buy myself an apartment for $95,000, which was reduced because I nagged and just called every single week. Every single week I called that man and just nagged. They wanted 120, but we broke a deal. We brokered a deal for 95, and they paid my maintenance and my closing cost, and I moved into that apartment. So, writing things down, I think it helps to manifest. It helps to have an energy. And it's also important to talk about it, to dream about it, and to share your goals and what you're up to with people. It's not, like hiding what you're doing doesn't give it energy. Right? And so it's important. I always think it's important to write things down. Also, using common sense. As I've heard, and you've all heard, that common sense is not as common as it used to be. Common sense now is a thing that, It's not too common. And a lot of people don't have it. And sometimes it's very frustrating because the obvious is right there. Like the obvious thing to do or the obvious question to ask is right there. And what my job is to do as a coach is to help people understand what questions that they need to ask, what it is that they want to do, how they can go deep and pull out. Did you like the way I did that? Deep. I'm sorry. Okay, right. You got to have a little bit of humor. You know what I mean? Right. So go deep and pull out what's really underneath the issue or the thing that you want. And sometimes it's fear, you know. We all have experiences of fear, and fear is sometimes wants to make us quit. We want to literally jump out of the games that we're playing. And it's important not to jump out. It's important to bring the fear out into the open, right? See it for what it is. Because if you don't, what will have you do? You won't win. You'll be a quit. So what's the saying? Winners win. Winners never quit. And quitters never win. And if you think about that, if you're a winner and you're not going to quit, you're going to keep on, you're going to keep on, you're going to keep on climbing that mountain until you actualize that thing that you want. But if you quit, 9 times out of 10, what I hear people say is, oh, how's that thing going that you were after? Oh, it didn't work out. You know, they wouldn't give me and this and that and the other, all kinds of blame. So it is important to really go for what you want. Don't quit. Write things down. So what did I say? Write things down. Create a structure. It's always difficult until you get it done. Write things down and use your common sense. And just really accept that fear is one of those things that come up. Like it's fear of looking bad. You know, I have a client that I spoke to this week, and we were talking, I'm not going to go into what we talked about, but she had an experience where she had to think very quickly. And when she thought very quickly, she made a decision, and the decision wasn't what it was supposed to be. And what she, while she was continue on doing it, she saw, oh my God, I did it too quickly and I shouldn't have. Now she could have cleaned it up right there and then, but she didn't. And so when she came to me to have a conversation, she felt a sense of guilt, like Noreen, I really screwed up. I could have cleaned it up, but I didn't know how to. I didn't want to look bad. And we had to discover all those things. And what she has now created for herself is, even in a pinch, even when I'm doing what I have to do, I can't, say certain things, otherwise I'll give her away, and I still have to give her privacy. She goes, even when I'm doing what I'm doing and it's in a pinch and I have to make an immediate decision, I can clean that up and not just let it slide. I can actually, oh, thank you, people. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. Right? She can clean it up, take the action and move forward. And what it is like, I said to her that it's going to make you a better blah. You're going to get more requests for work. You're going to get respect from your colleagues in the game. You're going to just be a whole new person. And she made that commitment to herself to move herself forward and clean it up. And it really takes a lot of courage. And I just want to say this, that we think it takes a lot of courage that we have. Courage is something that we're creating while we're doing. When I was looking for that apartment with my $25 a month savings, and I was going out looking at houses that were $100,000 and $200,000 and all this stuff, with not a nickel in my pocket, maybe like $1,000 if I was lucky, right? It took courage for me. And it's not that I had the courage. I had to create the courage while I was doing what I was doing. And many of us don't understand that. We think that courage is something that we have and it comes out, and we're just doing it. No, I know for me, when I'm confronted by something and I get that big punch in my chest and my esophagus starts to shut down and I get the jellies in my tummy and I'm like, ooh, and then I just have to go with it. I just have to say what I'm nervous about and then take the step anyway. So it's fear is feel the fear and take the step and do it anyway. Right. So There's another thing that I heard from the podcast that I was watching the other day. I took a lot of notes. I have this 7-foot piece of paper taped to my wall, and it's just got like so much writing on it. And one of the things that this was a Richard Branson quote, and he said, only go into business that you're good at, right? And it takes take the heat when you, to be a successful, I'm going to say entrepreneur, but it's to be a successful anybody, you have to be willing to take the heat when you fail, right? If you can't take the heat, if you can't deal with failing, just go get a job, right? Even in that area, you're going to be, if so, you might as well just deal with the failure. But he says, only go into businesses that you know about. And that man has over 200 plus businesses. And the answer to the question when the guy asked him, how many businesses do you have? And why do you have so many businesses? And he said, well, why not? You know, like, what the hell? Why not? He had a business that was called Virgin Bride. He goes, I didn't know anything about bride gowns, right? Wedding dresses. He goes, but I said, what the hell? She presented herself really great. It looked like something that could work. And I just went with it. And that crashed and burned, right? So he's had a lot of failures, and what's so great about him and inspiring is that he's willing to, like he said, I've fallen on my face so many times that when he got up, he's got like a pavement on it. And I thought that was kind of cool. You have to be willing to fail. And it's scary, but you still have to be. And you have to build. You build that where you take responsibility and you step into the fear and you do it anyway. It's something that you build. It doesn't come overnight. So if you're looking for your life to show up and be like a multimillionaire or to be the successful, whatever that is, it's not going to be something that you do overnight. But if you stay with it, you'll do it. So structures, organizing and planning. Desire is where creation happens. Right? One of the things he said is, lots of people said is desire is where the creation happened. You have a desire to be X, right? That X gives you the first grain, the first thread where you pull out where your creation starts. Mark Cuban had a desire to be rich, and he was rich in his 20s. Now he's mega rich. One of the things that I know about people that have, successful businesses or start to create successful structures is that many of these individuals, they just did what they loved. They did what they enjoyed doing. They did what they were good at, and they just got better and better at it. It wasn't like they woke up one night and it was just like, oh, I'm really good at what I do. No, Barbara Corcoran went through it. What she said is that she was good with numbers. Right? And so that was one of the things that she focused on. And none of them, get this, people, none of these people ever took out loans when they were starting out. And I think that's so great. That's so, because they had less pressure. So, and then when I get back, we'll be back in 5 minutes and I'll tell you something else that Mr. Branson said. So talk to you soon.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on this show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Hi, I'm back. This is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way. And I was just teased about my laugh, that I have 3 different laughs. I didn't even know that. I just thought I had one. I love laughing. It's one of my favorite things to do. You know, that's another structure that I created. I created this about 15 years ago, that I have to laugh a minimum of 10 times a day. I don't care if it's by myself, which is quite easy to do, and or with people, or just, you know, just find something to laugh about. And I created that like 10 years ago, which I still practice it because I laugh every day. And sometimes I'm laughing by myself. And I remember one year I had my windows open in my apartment. It was summertime, and in my house, and I was watching something on television, and I was laughing hysterically. And I called up my friend Wendy, another Wendy Bruno. And I tried to like relay the joke to her, but it just fell flat. She goes, well, at least you're enjoying yourself, right? And I couldn't stop laughing at this thing. So I'm laughing hysterically. And the next day, my neighbor's like, did you have company last night? And I'm like, why? She goes, because you were laughing and laughing and laughing. I just thought you had company. I said, no, that was me laughing by myself. But it's good to laugh by yourself. If you can't laugh by yourself, I believe if you can't do anything by yourself, you can't do anything with others. So I believe laugh as much as you can. I think it keeps the wrinkles away, you know, keeps you young and fresh. So, yes, always laugh. And again, I talked about your desire is your creations. You have to do that. And we talked about a winner never quits and a quitter never wins, right? And there's another thing. I've got to go back to the Branson thing, though, but I'll go back to that in a second. One of the things I'm now busy listening and reading. What is it? What am I reading? What did I tell you I'm reading? Yes, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yes, it's a very old book. And yes, it might have been written for crotchety old white men in the 30s. But I'm going to tell you what, any crotchety person today, whether you're crotchety young or crotchety old, can get value from reading that book. It is amazing. And one of the things that he said is you can be either you're a leader or you're a follower. Right? If you choose to be a leader, and he gives like 10 different descriptions. I didn't write the descriptions out as to what it takes to be a leader. And if you want to be a follower, that's okay too. But what he said was to be an intelligent follower. I've never really thought of it like that, but it is to be an intelligent follower. You have to find somebody that's good at what they do, or so that when you do follow them, you're actually picking up breadcrumbs from what they put down. They say something, they put it down, you pick it up, and you can learn from it, right? So be an intelligent follower, because one day, I'm sorry. John Legend just popped into my head. I love him. Okay. Anyway, one day you, the follower, will become a leader because you have learned from that leader. And now you can step into that role. And even if it's something that you didn't create for yourself, or you didn't say you wanted, like I said before, most of the individuals that are really successful, most of the top entrepreneurs, the billionaire people, the people that are making it happen on this planet, in this country, and that are the influencers, are people that had no clue about what they wanted to do. The clue that they had was they wanted to do something that they loved, and they did it. And that's what had them move on in their lives. So if you're going to be a follower, it's not a bad thing, but just be an intelligent follower, right? And I wrote here, there's no shame in being a follower. You have to be, yes, an intelligent follower. I said it. I even said it better than I wrote it, actually. Okay. And there's another thing that they said, self-control. If you want to be a good leader, you have to be able to control. Now, not control people, controlling oneself, right? Self-control. If you can't control yourself, there is no way that you're going to control other people, right? So one has to be able to control themselves. Let me tell you, I have taken on some roles recently where I am leading. I'm the president of a group. Me, a president. Can you believe it? I know it sounds crazy, but you got to get who I was in school, not college, but secondary school. I was not a leader because I was always frigging around, laughing, same way, laughing, having a good time, you know, not following the rules, not doing what I was told to do, doing it the way I wanted to do. So I laugh today because I'm the president of my business referral group. I am social, so that does make sense. And I am also the vice president of NABO, the member engagement for NABO, which is the National Association of Women Business Owners, which again makes sense because I'm the vice president of member engagement, which is also very social, right? And I'm laughing because I'm sure, God rest her soul, my teacher, Miss Murrell, I loved her. She was an older woman and we gave her hell. She was very religious and I gave her hell. And I know she's probably doing flips in her grave that I am literally taking on these roles and, you know, managing and helping people to succeed and things like that. And, you know, with these groups and stuff, it makes me laugh because I think of myself as that little 11-year-old or, you know, to 16 who was just like, so kind of whatever, you know, to be doing this. It just makes me laugh because I think of my teachers going, really? You know? So one has to learn to control oneself. And, you know, when people call you up and say things that are not appropriate or tell you lies, like the inner being, like has anybody seen the memes? You know, the memes that they have that look like Kermit? And then so the inner being wants to say, yeah, and and Noreen has to go, okay, so we'll have to discuss that. Or that doesn't work. Or you said that you were going to do X. And so I'm going to hold you to doing X. You know, I have to be that kind of person, right? So it's really managing myself so that I take care of my people, that I respect their opinions, that I get that then we're not going to be the same and that we're going to be different, right? Doesn't mean some of the stuff doesn't hurt sometimes, but it's like really managing oneself. So it's learning to control. There's a whole, I'm recommending that book tonight, Think and Grow Rich. And you know what I'd actually like to do? I'd actually like to create a mastermind group around the Think and Grow Rich book. So if anybody's out there who would like to do a mastermind, a Zoom one, we don't have to meet, a Zoom mastermind, maybe 45 minutes studying the works of Think and Grow Rich, give me a call and let's do this, because I think it is something that can bring a lot of value to everybody's life. It's brought a lot of value to my life. It's very interesting. And there are some things in it that might be dated, but there are still some things that are extremely valuable. So if you're interested in that, give me a shout out. Call me, and you can contact me at NoreenSumterCoach.com, or you can call me at 917-945-5907. So anyway, I neglected to mention Valentine's. I wonder why. Maybe because it's like the devil's in me tonight. Okay. So I neglected to mention Valentine's. It is Valentine's tomorrow. One of the things I want to say to any woman out there who is avoiding going to a local restaurant to pick up her takeout meal because she doesn't want to see all the lovers in there huddling and cuddling and doing whatever they do, girl, go get your food. Do not, I repeat, do not sit in your house and watch Netflix and sit there and eat a box of chocolates by yourself, or sit there and worry about yourself. Get together with your girls, get together with your friends, get together with yourself and have a really great time. And the same with the guys. If you don't have a woman, or if you're gay, if you don't have a lover, get together with someone. Do not lock yourself in. Do not be a shut-in on Valentine's. And I request that you thoroughly enjoy it and love on yourself. right? Really just love on yourself and be with yourself. So this is me. This is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential. Live life your way. I am wishing you the best Valentine ever, whether you're with someone or you're not. But they say, love the one you're with. And if you're with yourself, just love you. Talk to you guys later and see you next week. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts